the two there. But we know Melania Trump really took a back seat, almost completely absent from the 2024 campaign. Yes, she did appear at that Madison Square Garden rally in New York City. She did appear at the RNC there in Milwaukee. She did not speak at the RNC, and so it'll be interesting to see. She did take somewhat of a back seat in the Trump first term as well. In the role of First Lady, the role of First Lady that Jill Biden took was very front and center, was very prominent. Someone would even argue that she was, because of President Biden's age or alleged infirmities or alleged senility, that she was somewhat also in charge of the inner circle, so to speak. So I thought those roles were very different.
And we
we
see
now
the
have
doors,
the two
Andrew,
principals, I believe, coming out. Maybe not.
I just wanted to let our viewers know we see the doors opening once again. That, of course, is Vice President-elect J.D. Vance alongside Vice President Harris. They, too, will be sharing a motorcade. And to your point, Andrew, you were mentioning it's going to be interesting to see what First Lady Jill Biden and Melania Trump will be speaking about. Now you have Vice President Harris and J.D. Vance sharing a vehicle. Now, is there going to be any sort of conversation, as they make their way to the Capitol Rotunda? We continue to talk about the political dynamics. And, it's always interesting. We see them from a distance, but truly they only know what's happening inside that vehicle, of course, alongside, Secret Service. But they, too, are departing the White House. And finally, as we pivot the view right there back to the front doors, we are expecting to see President-elect Trump and President Biden to depart shortly. I also wanted to share this look as we continue to take a look. You can see House Speaker Mike Johnson there arriving at the Capitol Rotunda as we do see the limousine that is set to depart the White House right here. I did just want to pause on this live look as we are expecting President-elect Trump and President Biden to be departing the White House in just a matter of moments, also sharing a singular vehicle as they make their way to the Capitol Rotunda for this historic moment as President-elect Donald Trump is going to be sworn in as the 47th President of the United States.
And just to note, Stephanie, the woman in the green jacket, that was Senator Deb Fischer from Nebraska. There's this entire congressional committee known as the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies. They are tasked with putting all this on. And so that's why you saw Senator Deb Fischer there, the Republican from Nebraska. And so they are responsible for planning this, for making sure it all goes off without a hitch. And so they are instrumental in this. You're going to see them quite a lot today. And you just saw Deb Fischer there with, I believe, Usha Vance and Doug Emhoff. So wanted just to note that there as well. You also see some of these congressional leaders get there into the rotunda. You just saw Hakeem Jeffries and others, Speaker Mike Johnson. So congressional leadership looks like they are in the building now. We are waiting, to your point, President-elect Trump and President Biden. And to your point, I do hope that maybe some of the official photographers will release photos from inside the limousines of how these moments transpired, what the conversations were like. Maybe we can get some reporting as well. We do know, though, the Bidens have been somewhat gracious with the Trumps after the November 5th election. President Biden inviting Trump to the White House the very same week and committed to a peaceful transition of power. And that is what we are seeing today. And that is why this is so important. So Biden and Trump will be riding over in the Beast to the Capitol from the White House momentarily. This is really quite something. Obviously they haven't spent that much time together. They were on a debate stage twice in 2020. They were on a debate stage once in 2024. They've appeared at similar events at the same time, but I would venture to say that this is going to be the closest in proximity they have been for the longest duration, maybe ever. And so you just have to wonder what those conversations are going to be. like these political rivals, political foes from all reporting suggests they literally cannot stand each other. And I think a lot of the viewers forget that after Biden sought not to seek re-election after the debate in June in Atlanta, where he withdrew from the ticket, the Trump campaign had a difficult time adapting and adjusting to the fact that he was not going to be the rival. It was going to be someone else, and here they are.
And as the limousine departs right there, we actually saw President-elect Trump on his cell phone, Andrew, just checking some stuff. But we were hearing one of the reporters yelling out to both Biden and Trump, "What are you going to talk about?" And obviously, they did not answer. But of course, that's the question that everyone wants to know. What will these gentlemen be speaking about? They, of course, were joined by Representative Amy Klobuchar, who, is part of the committee that oversees the inauguration and all of the events. But still, curious minds want to know, Andrew, what is the conversation going to be like inside this limo? I don't know specifically, and perhaps you do, just how many minutes it's going to take for the limousine to actually arrive at the Capitol, but it could either be a very long ride or it could be a very short and comfortable ride. We don't know.
Yes, it is a very short ride, under 10 minutes. And yeah, you saw there Senator Amy Klobuchar from Minnesota, the Democrat, another member of this joint congressional committee inaugural ceremonies. And so she's also in the limousine. Maybe she'll be breaking the ice, so to speak, between Trump and Biden. But this leads me to wonder as well, Stephanie, what is the Biden post-presidency going to look like? We know they're going to be, they being Joe and Joe Biden, they'll be spending a couple of days in Santa Barbara, California. After today, they'll be whisked off there to the West Coast. We know Trump is going to the West Coast later this week on Friday to survey some of the damage wrought by the LA wildfires. So they may be in California at the same time as well. But a post-presidency looks different, so to speak, if you're Obama and you're leaving the White House in your 50s. Biden leaving the White House in his early 80s. I wonder how he will choose to use that. He said in a speech in South Carolina just yesterday, he is going to remain engaged. He is going to remain committed. He's not going anywhere. So I think it remains to be seen what his role in American political life will be going forward. Sometimes presidents, all presidents, when they leave the White House, they go back to being everyday regular citizens. But some take up a role and they want to use their influence that they had in the Oval Office, even while not in the Oval Office. Jimmy Carter was a perfect example of that. And so you're watching the beast right now move down Pennsylvania Avenue, down to the U.S. Capitol. This is quite something. This is remarkable. Let's just watch and listen.
All right, it does appear perhaps as though this live look right there, foes. Andrew, obviously this, this is coming from one of the vehicles as part of this motorcade. It does look like they are trying to get it back, but and it does look like they have. We're just going to hang on this. It looks like they have this issue. Let's listen in.
Yes, Stephanie, of course, we're moving down Pennsylvania Avenue right now, and you can just hear the cheers from so many of these supporters who have lined the streets there, and you can see them on the sides waving. It is very, very cold. We're now passing the National Gallery of Art, if you're familiar with Washington. We do apologize about the feed. It looks a little bit and out there. We're going to stay with it, but the motorcade moving now, both President Biden and President-elect Donald Trump inside alongside Senator Amy Klobuchar in there. So I said this is about under 10 minutes, and we're going to be moving to the U.S. Capitol in just no time here. But you can see the security. You can see there some of the troops standing guard, saluting the motorcade as it moves past. And now I believe we're going to be right outside the U.S. Capitol momentarily. And so this is really, really remarkable. We're not going to, and it has been reported, we're not going to see your typical inauguration parade, down Pennsylvania Avenue because it is so cold. President-elect Trump will be visiting his throngs of thousands of supporters at Capital One Arena, much like the rally he had yesterday. And that is where people are watching it live inside that arena, thousands of them. And that is probably why you're not seeing as many people line the streets. There's hardly anyone on the National Mall because, one, it's inside the rotunda, the swearing in, the oath, and two, it's just too cold there. And we've heard from some of Trump's, including incoming House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, saying that this was not done for security reasons. This was done to protect his people, Trump's people, though there are some security analysts and experts that we've even talked to here on Live Now who argue that this could have been made with that in mind. That decision could have been made with that in mind. Let's keep watching this motorcade.
Good morning, sir. How are you this morning?
Good morning. Thank you.
President Trump, you feel? President Biden?
Well,
And there we saw President Biden and President-elect Donald Trump arriving at the Capitol. You see Elon Musk there, Andrew, just one of the tech titans, as you know, we were discussing.
Right.
As we await the official swearing-in ceremony. There is Melania Trump right there, First Lady Jill Biden, you know, Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff, and others as they continue to make their way inside the rotunda for that actual swearing-in ceremony.
Yeah, and interesting, the Vances seem to be kind of trailing behind, leading the pack from behind, so to speak. I thought that was interesting there. You see J.D. Vance and Usha Vance coming into the rotunda there. Biden and Trump kind of walking somewhat stone-faced there. Biden, when asked, how's it going, he said, well, he and Trump side by side, in unison, in tandem, walking in with Vice President Kamala Harris behind. And you can just feel the emotions in the room. I think it's so interesting that, and that's what's so unique about the American experiment, is that political foes, political losers and winners alike can be in the same room. You see the Republican member there, Miriam Adelson. You see UFC chairman Dana White. This is part of the Trump invitation list, so to speak. I'm going to be doing my best to point out some of these individuals, but you also saw there Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google, speaking with Elon Musk as well. So, Stephanie, we're just waiting for President-elect Trump, President Biden, and all the other dignitaries to enter into the rotunda. There is a waiting area, kind of a holding room off the side, and now you see members of the incoming Trump cabinet, all of whom, Stephanie, have yet to be confirmed, though their confirmation hearings are ongoing as we speak, and they will continue this week as well. You also see incoming White House Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, there in the long white dress coat. She was instrumental in the Trump 2024 campaign, serving as co-campaign chairwoman with Chris LaCivita. And you see so many others: South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, former Georgia Senator Kelly Loeffler, former New York Congressman Lee Zeldin, John Ratcliffe there, Trump's pick to lead the CIA, Kash Patel, Trump's pick to lead the FBI, and so many. I believe that's Vivek Ramaswamy, Kevin Hassett as well, and Tulsi Gabbard. So all of the incoming Trump cabinet members are seated behind the principals there on the dais, which I think is an interesting choice. Yes, they will serve out, if confirmed, the Trump cabinet there. Susie Wiles speaking with Tulsi Gabbard. So it's just really interesting. I mean, Stephanie, if you think about it, we're going to be talking about these names a lot, you and I, on Live Now from Fox for the next 4 years. I also recognize there to the right, Tucker Carlson in the rotunda. There's Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and so many others, some of whom, Stephanie, you remember, were one-time rivals of Trump on the primary stage, like North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum. But I think I've exhausted my recognition here with familiar faces, but that is a storyline we are going to have to watch in the next couple of days, these confirmation hearings, and whether or not there will be any more hiccups or snags in that process. They've been quite fiery as of late, including with Pam Bondi and Pete Hegseth last week.
And truly, you know, Andrew, the power that is inside this room, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, we have seen some Democrats there as well. But this is just one of those moments where everyone comes together as part of this American tradition. And that, of course, is the inauguration, the swearing-in ceremony of Donald J. Trump as the 47th president of the United States. Truly remarkable as we get that inside front row seat, and we're able to share that with our viewers in real time. So many people not able to make the journey to Washington, D.C., but now being part of history in the making.
Yes, just for the viewers, that couple there, that was former Vice President Dan Quayle and his wife, the former Second Lady Marilyn Quayle there. So the Quayles are in the House as well. This is fascinating. I didn't know we did have the shot on the very tail end on the right-hand side of the dais. Some of these world leaders, Stephanie, that are here and on hand. The leader of Argentina, Javier Milei. We also know Giorgia Meloni, the Italian prime minister. She is in the House as well. We know the vice premier of the People's Republic of China is here as well. That was the delegation Xi Jinping sent. And of course, former Vice President Mike Pence. I don't think it's lost on the viewers his role in the last 8 years and what he has meant for recent history. Of course, he was the only and the highest ranking member of the Trump administration last time to attend the inauguration because Donald Trump was not there himself. And then, of course, these tech titans, Mark Zuckerberg there, you just saw, the CEO of Meta.
And as we take a look,
the
Andrew,
power
as we
that
take
is
a look at
concentrated in this room right now, somewhat beyond comprehension.
Yes, and you know, you were mentioning just, you know, the political figureheads, you know, just the who's who. But as you also mentioned, we have Elon Musk, we have the who's who in the tech industry. The conversations that are happening right now, Andrew, I have to imagine, aren't just about politics.